Happy Tuesday, everybody. March is about a done deal. It'll be, in fact, it will be a done deal. At midnight tonight, it's the final day of March 2026. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Another cool morning, another beautiful morning, but another chilly one, 32 degrees. Nothing on Ellensburg is at 22 degrees. Everybody is at or below freezing right now. This is not a surprise, but it is chilly. In fact, 32 for us is the warm spot. Omax at 30, Manson and Chelan 29. The only other folks, Moses Lake's at 26. It's cold, and it's going to be below normal again today. See a few more high clouds today than we saw yesterday. What we have right now is what we're pretty much going to have for most of the day today. And then April begins tomorrow with rain, maybe a lot of it on Wednesday and Wednesday night as the system goes through. And it's going to be chilly too. It's going to be a raw, cold start to the new month, and then the Easter weekend coming up is looking great. One of the best forecasts for the Easter weekend I've seen in quite some time. That all-important weather forecast from the National Weather Service is coming up. A lot of news to touch on, some sports. Well, my Yankees aren't going to go undefeated. I was probably asking a bit much anyway. Pretty exciting walk-off victory for the Mariners in the bottom of the ninth inning, courtesy of the big dumper, as the Mariners knocked off my Yankees. I'll get over it. Highlights of that, plus what's happening in the world of prep. And coming up on Saturday, May 9th, at the Student Rec Center on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College, it's the main event, big fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department. They need some love. As you know by now, they've had some budgetary issues. They're bringing in a Wenatchee Valley College alumnus and a pretty cool guy and a pretty well-known guy. Kenny Mayne is coming to town to do some fun stuff. You're invited for a small fee to check it out. It's called The Main Event. We visited with Kenny via Zoom from his home in Connecticut last week. We'll show that for you in the back half of the program. It's a busy Tuesday. Let's go. Got some pretty good looking cameras too. That is the Wenatchee Heights camera pointed down the Columbia River right at sunrise, which has been happening now for about 20 minutes. Sunrise this morning was at 6:41. Sunset tonight 7:29. That's 12 hours and 48 minutes of daylight. So today will be 3 minutes and 24 seconds longer than yesterday. 52, by the way, was our high on Monday. From Stein Hill, looking out over beautiful Kashmir, the Mount Kashmir Golf Course, sitting there. Here's the fairgrounds, and almost all of Kashmir is well within view there. Again, that one pointed towards the Wenatchee Valley as well. Here's another camera pointed towards Kashmir. It's in Leavenworth, well, high above Leavenworth, our Tumwater Canyon camera looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley. Good morning to the Upper Valley. It's good to see you folks on this Tuesday. And the Greens Knob camera. We have not used this one in a long time. That is another orchard burn. They're also doing some prescribed burns in the Wenatchee and Okanagan National Forest and on some DNR land. You probably saw some of those yesterday in the midday hours. You can see a number of smoke plumes all over the Wenatchee Valley and the general area of north central Washington. Those are prescribed burns. They got to do them this time of the year. Cut down on the fuel that may come burning when the heat comes. So there you go. That's Greens Knob. That's Lake Chelan that you're looking at. Is pointed down towards the Manson area. That's a pretty cool view there. And as you can see, they still have some work to do to get the bathtub all filled up. Still going to snow in the mountains. The snow level is going to be at 2,200 feet later on today. It's eventually going to go up to about 4,000 feet. But for Wednesday and Thursday, they're going to get some snow in the Cascades, especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and spilling into Thursday. Stevens, 6 to 8 inches of snow. I-90 is going to get about 4 to 6 inches of snow, just a little bit for Blewett. So yeah, we're still done. We still have winter time up in the Cascades, even though we're over a week into spring. We do this every Tuesday. Check in with our friends at the Climate Prediction Center. This is the long-term forecast for Easter Sunday through Thursday of next week, and we're definitely trending warmer than normal as far as precipitation, normal precipitation. April has a tendency to be one of our wetter months. At least it has been, traditionally anyway, but it looks like we're going to have a normal start precipitation-wise for Easter Sunday through Thursday, but definitely going to trend a little warmer. And look how warm it's going to be in Southern California again. They just can't catch a break with some incredibly warm temperatures last 3 weeks or so down in Southern California, in Las Vegas and Phoenix. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. We're going to see a few more high clouds today. Still going to be sunshine for the most part, but every once in a while a high cloud will pass by. It's not packing any moisture today. This all it's going to be. High today of 53, and that's chilly. Our normal high is 57 or 58. 37 for the overnight low tonight. It's going to be milder tonight because the clouds will be thickening up and dropping down in elevation overnight tonight as the system comes through. Tomorrow, rain, basically from about noon to about midnight. That's your timetable. 12 noon tomorrow afternoon until midnight Wednesday night into Thursday. We're going to get rain, snow in the upper elevations. Only 48, 10 degrees below normal, and quite a bit of rain. We could get about a quarter of an inch of rain or even more. That's a lot for us. So there you go. Rain from noon tomorrow till about midnight, and then we head on into Thursday. Going to be a little breezy, but quite a bit of sunshine, high of 53, and then Easter weekend is shaping up nice. Lots of sunshine, 58, Saturday 64, Easter Sunday proper 67, Monday pushing 70. Yeah, I can live with that. Who doesn't want that? Going to take a break and come back with your news. You're watching a Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
High thin clouds, 32 degrees. It's chilly out there, and we're the warm spot. Not going to be real warm today. We'll be in the lower 50s with high clouds. Lots of rain on Wednesday into Wednesday night, and then we flip things 180 degrees, and a very pleasant Holy Weekend is coming our way. It's 9 minutes after the hour. An accident involving a handgun wounded not one, not two, but three people with a single shot. This happened on Saturday outside of Dryden. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies and aid crews from Fire District 6 were sent to a home off of Highway 2. This happened at about 9:12 on Saturday night. A male resident inspecting a newly purchased handgun pulled the trigger. He thought it was unloaded. Turns out it wasn't. The resulting gunshot traveled through his hand, through the buttocks of a bystander, and into the leg of a third person. One of the responding deputies, Drew Davis, he applied a tourniquet to the victim with the leg injury before they were taken to hospital care. Authorities say that the Deputy Davis may have actually saved the victim's life, the one that was shot in the leg. Sheriff's Chief of Special Operations Ryan Moody says the incident is a lesson to always handle firearms with care and always assume the firearm is loaded. A former custodian at Sterling Junior High in East Wenatchee will serve a year in jail for sexually abusing a 15-year-old student. 52-year-old Michael Ray Van Housen pleaded guilty last month to a single count of third-degree rape. East Wenatchee police arrested Van Housen in 2022 on suspicion of sexually assaulting the teenager at the junior high school building. He appeared by Zoom for sentencing with his attorney. Eastmont Schools Resource Officer Ivy Jurgensen read the victim's statement in Douglas County Superior Court in Waterville before Van Housen was sentenced by Judge Brian Huber.
The strength it takes just to wake up some days, to keep moving forward when my world has been shaken, to carry the pain that no one else can fully understand. It has also affected my ability to focus at work and spend time with my family the way I used to. I am a survivor of sexual assault, and I would have never thought I would be strong enough to say that out loud.
Van Housen must report to jail on Friday, and in addition to his confinement, Huber ordered him to register as a sex offender and have no contact with the victim or other youth or disabled adults. It is the maximum standard sentence under Washington law. A Bridgeport woman who stabbed a convenience store clerk in the face last fall was convicted by a jury last week of second-degree assault. 23-year-old Monica Mercado apparently attacked the female clerk at her workplace in San Marcos Market. This happened last November. The victim suffered wounds to her face and hand and was treated at Three Rivers Hospital in Brewster. Mercado fled the store, was arrested 3 days later by Douglas County Sheriff's deputies, who said the attack appeared to stem from a verbal dispute between the two women a few days earlier. Last week, the jury in Waterville convicted her of second-degree assault after a 2-day trial, but acquitted her of a more serious charge of first degree. She was also convicted of malicious mischief for slashing the victim's car tires. Mercado has been held in the Chelan County Jail since her arrest. When she's sentenced on Thursday, she faces a possible term ranging from at least 3 to 9 months. In a ceremony at the Capitol yesterday, Governor Bob Ferguson signed the so-called millionaire's tax into law. It creates a first-of-its-kind income tax in Washington state. Starting in 2028, households will pay 9.9% on all income over $1 million annually. That money would be channeled towards K-12 education, healthcare, higher ed, and other services. The law is expected to bring in at least $3 billion a year while reducing certain sales and business taxes. Supporters praised the measure at the ceremony, but Ferguson acknowledged that the law is likely going to face legal challenges.
Look, there's going to be a public conversation around this, right, in the days and weeks and months ahead, as there should be for something of this historic nature. And putting front and center those perspectives that you just heard, I think will be critical, because when Washingtonians hear the benefits that flow to working families, to businesses, large and small, to kids in schools with those free meals, for child care services for thousands of Washington families, it's going to make a huge, huge difference, and we're deeply appreciative of their speaking up.
Flock automated license plate readers operated by the Wenatchee Police Department remain shut off as the agency awaits the governor's signature on a bill that would regulate the surveillance cameras. The department opted to turn off their cameras late last year after a ruling by a Skagit County judge that determined that images captured by the cameras were considered public records. Senate Bill 6002 originally proposed limiting agencies from retaining data collected by automated license plate readers for longer than 72 hours. After several amendments, the approved bill allows retention for 21 days, exempts the data from public disclosure, and is now on Governor Bob Ferguson's desk, but it hasn't been signed yet. Police Chief Edgar Reinfeld sat down with yours truly last week to talk about the bill's passage and when he expects Wenatchee's cameras to be turned back on.
It's interesting. When it first came up as a Senate bill, the proposed bill was not workable for us. We just would have had them come back and take them down and worked our way out of our contract with them, which goes for one more year. Instead, great credit to WASPIC, the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, lobbyists, and our policy folks who work with the legislature, and to the Senate sponsor who came up with a bill that was really unworkable for us and instead made amendments and adjustments that made it possible that we can actually work with this. So as of today, this is one of those where I read the bill and think, what's it going to look like in RCW? It's a little bit hard to see, but the basic provisions that we've seen would make it viable for us to turn the cameras back on them and use the tool again.
The bill that's on the governor's desk, again, is yet to be signed, would change things unless it's an active criminal investigation or you get a warrant. After 21 days, the images are automatically gone.
Yes.
They're deleted. And it also has a little caveat regarding public records requests in these things as well, correct?
So the existing structure with Flock is 30 days is their default retention. This would change retention to 21 days. I can't remember which state it is. I feel like it's New Hampshire or Vermont. It's 3 minutes. So the usability is a very narrow window. 21 days is totally workable. We had hoped just to have the 30. I think Flock as a company is probably prepared to change the retention. It can't be that difficult from a software side. But yes, the huge part of it is removing the public disclosure request so that the images themselves are not available through the public disclosure process. The impetus to turn our cameras off was a single public disclosure request that requested every image that had been captured by the system. And so 30 days worth was nominally 7.5 million images from 8 cameras. Do they need to be reviewed and redacted each image? If they do, that's a colossal amount of time. If they don't need to be reviewed and redacted, it's still the volume of data was so large, it took us 4 weeks to determine how to get it flowed through our IT connection. We have extremely solid internet connection provided by a local provider, and never a problem. This volume and duration to bring down this massive pile of what ends up being a single encrypted file takes a long time. So multiple attempts, any interruption would kill the download, and then we don't have it. And then we have to do something with it, and then we have to provide it to the requestor, because that's how a public disclosure law works. It's the way it is, but pretty much impossible to deal with. So the biggest factor for us, aside from a lot of other things that came up, including the UW study, was just that we cannot manage the public disclosure volume of the images. It's unmanageable. It's impossible to keep all that. There's so much to it that we just can't deal with, and therefore it's not financially viable to keep it.
Are they going back on? Are they back on?
They are not back on. My guess is, based on everything I see, that they will be coming back on, and hopefully very soon. But again, it requires a signature by the governor with, if there are partial vetoes, that would change it. Depending on how it's codified in RCW, it could look kind of interesting. We may need to make some small policy adjustments, but our cycle time from signed by the governor, reviewed by legal, to being back on should be just a few days. Once we get all the review steps, then we should be able to get it done quickly.
One of the Wenatchee Valley's 8 historic fire lookouts has fallen victim to wind and weather. These things happen. The Slate Peak Fire Lookout collapsed over the winter, and its fate was finally discovered last week. The 40-foot tower sat at 7,300 feet. That made it the second highest fire watch station that was still standing anyway in our state. It was built back in 1956 to stand guard for fire activity in the remote Pasayten wilderness. The nonprofit Wenatchee Valley Forest Fire Lookout Association, they work to preserve the lookouts in the Wenatchee Valley Ranger District, say they're going to work with the Forest Service to document and salvage the site. They hope that remnants of the fallen lookout can be preserved. And the 2026 Rails and Ales Festival and Rail Jam competition helped usher out the winter back on March 11th, and at the same time, Sustainable NCW helped divert a sizable amount of recyclable and compostable goods out of the event's waste system. The Ecology Nonprofits Director, Marlene Farrell, says with the help from 38 volunteers, local Rotary clubs, and Winton Manufacturing Compost Works, Sustainable NCW set aside 600 pounds of organic material for composting. All that matter was trucked away from the downtown event to be turned into compost for yard and agriculture use. Another 250 pounds of recyclable material was also salvaged instead of going to the dump. The event required vendors to offer compostable packaging, and receptacles were put in place for guests to recycle or compost their trash. Farrell says all told, the diversion prevents almost 2,200 pounds of CO2 from being pushed into the atmosphere in the form of landfill fumes, which is why the dump doesn't smell very good. I do, though. I showered today. And that is the news at 20 minutes after the hour. Jefferson showered, Grant will shower, I'm sure. We'll all be clean for the news tonight. At 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, the NCAA Life Evening News. On our YouTube page at 5 o'clock. We stream on our homepage. We're on all those formats that you see down below. And if you have a news tip, and we've gotten some pretty interesting stories because you sent us the tip, send us a tip. News at ncwlife.com. It was a cold night at T-Mobile Park, but everybody left kind of warm. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. Chelan Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and culinary delights. With 4 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure. But don't wait, tickets are selling fast. Visit tastechelan.com today.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
22 minutes after the hour of sports, Cal Raleigh didn't start, but he came off the bench and hit the game-winning walk-off base hit in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Mariners beat the Yankees 2-1 on a cold night in Seattle last night. Louis Castillo was really good. He gave up just a couple of hits. He struck out 7 in 6 innings of work, including his 1,500th career strikeout.
Lined into center field. Grisham makes the play. Well struck, but Grisham put it away for the second out.
Well done by Trent. Did not freeze at all. He paused for a minute to read it and went right directly with an excellent route to a hard hit ball.
Broken bat, and this is dumping in, base hit. Randy around third, and he crosses home plate. Broken bat, RBI ribby. That time from Cole Young, and the Mariners are on the board. It's 1-0. A wild throw, and Naylor thought that he got a tag on there. Let's see if the Mariners want to challenge this. And they do want to challenge, and that throw might have helped things out a little bit. Now the crowd here who has seen the replay is convinced, as are the Mariners, who are walking off the field.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner is out, and Seattle will retain their challenge.
Yeah, that is huge. Here comes the 1-2. And he goes. Aaron Judge strikes out. And a huge out number 2 in a close 6th inning. That is career strikeout number 1,500 for Luis Castillo, the Rock, with a milestone tonight against the Yankees.
This game tied. Runner goes again. There's the contact to the outfield. Rodriguez makes the catch. tagging and scoring is Rice. Heading back to first, Jazz Chisholm. It's a sac fly, pinch hit sac fly, and the game is tied at 1.
Next run wins it. The 2-1. Hit hard. Fair ball. Cal Raleigh walks it off against the Yankees. Well, the Mariners have a thing with walk-offs against these Bronx Bombers, don't they? We've seen this a handful of times in recent years.
Cal getting that good swing off, keeping it fair. Game over.
Not surprisingly, manager Dan Wilson had high praise for Castillo, who held the potent Yankee offense in check.
Again, a chilly night, but there's so many things to talk about, so many positives. The Rock, really, that's where you got to start and end with it. He was tremendous tonight. 1,500 strikeouts is outstanding. Congratulations to him on that milestone. But just being able to hold this lineup scoreless for 6 innings, I thought he made just a ton of great pitches, and his battery mate also had quite a ball game. I thought he did a really nice job with Rock behind there. Cole Young, I thought, really swung the bat well. Obviously left on left, a couple of just really hard hit balls and putting us in good positions. We were able to get traffic all night long. For Cal to go from a day off to getting into that game and then getting a couple ABs and breaking it open there at the end to get the walk-off, feels really good and great to see that from Cal. I think that was a big win for us tonight.
Big win for the Mariners. Game 2, the 3-game set is tonight. Logan Gilbert and Max Fried will be making their second starts of the year, respectively. The game is on national TV. I can watch it. It's on TBS. First pitch is at 6:40. The American League West scoreboard, of course, the Mariners over the Yankees. The other winners yesterday with the Rangers and the Astros, not winning the Athletics and the Angels. Seattle Kraken try to keep their Stanley Cup playoff hopes alive. There's just 10 games left in the regular season. This long 6-game road trip is almost over. They got one more game tonight in Edmonton. They'll take on the Oilers. The Oilers are 13-5-3. By the way, in the Pacific, Seattle is 14-6-1. In the Pacific, the puck will drop at 6 tonight on Kong TV. It's not over, but they got to start winning some games or at least getting more points. The prep soccer schedule today, head on out to the pitch. You might want to wear a sweater. It's going to be chilly. Here's your schedule for today. It starts with Omak at Chelan at 4 o'clock. It wraps up with Moses Lake at West Valley at 7 o'clock and all the games in between if you want to go out and watch some high school soccer. Prep baseball schedule, all single games. The doubleheaders aren't on Fridays, so there's your schedule there for prep baseball. Go out to the Diamond and check it out. And the prep softball scoreboard and schedule. We had some games yesterday. Chelan swept Wenatchee Valley on the Diamond 4-0 and 14-11, and Lake Roosevelt just snuck by Liberty Bell. And the rest of the games today on the prep softball scoreboard and schedule. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 28 minutes after the hour, happy National Crayon Day. I did some research, and nobody seems to know who invented the crayon. We associate crayon with the brand named Crayola. When I was a kid, when I was in elementary school, 20 years ago in elementary school, if you had one of those 64 box things of colors, man, that was a status symbol. Crayola, by the way, the brand name goes back to 1902. Crayola has produced 120 different colors. They have retired 50 colors, and the smell of crayons is the 18th most recognizable sense for adults. I've read studies if after 40 years and you smell a crayon, like your childhood comes back to you, which is pretty cool. And by the way, in 1962, Crayola changed the name of the color flesh to peach. Probably not a bad idea. 29 minutes after the hour today in history, happy birthday to the Eiffel Tower. It opened for business March 31st, 1889. Took 2 years, 2 months, and a few days to build that thing. It was originally heavily criticized. Now it's the half dozen most iconic structures on the planet. When it was built, it was 985 feet tall. They put a TV mast on top of that in the 50s, and then a cell tower on top of that not long ago. So now it's 1,083 feet. But when it's really cold, the tower actually gets smaller by 6 inches. In really cold, it shrinks. Insert your own joke here. For 41 years, it was the tallest building in the world until the Chrysler Building surpassed it in 1930. The first level is 189 feet high. Then you go up to the second level, which is 379 feet high. They both have restaurants and observation decks and souvenir shops. And all the way to the very top, you're 905 feet high. And for $30, you can drink a glass of champagne at the very top of the Eiffel Tower. And during World War II, the French resistance disabled the elevators. So whenever the Nazi guards had to go to the top of the Eiffel Tower as observation, and they had to do it every day, they had to climb the damn thing. They couldn't figure out how to fix the elevator. Good for them. The Eiffel Tower is 137 years old today. Happy anniversary in this country of that. We first observed daylight saving on this date, March 31st, 1908, because it was World War I. When the war was over, they got rid of it. People didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. Then they brought it back. They called it wartime in World War II, and then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back. And yeah, year-round daylight saving, all right? Just get her done. In 1948, Columbia came up with the long-playing LP record, which means they owned the patent, which means all the other record companies who made the 12-inch LP record had to pay Columbia. RCA didn't like that, so a year later, on this date of 1949, RCA rolled out the 45 RPM record. They've been working on it for 10 years. 7 inches, the idea was to compete with the LP, and they got sick and tired of paying Columbia royalties anyway. Both formats, of course, were considerably better sound quality-wise than the 78. If there's an anniversary for the death or the beginning of the end for the 78 RPM record, it was on this date in 1949, 77 years ago, when the 45 came out. Happy birthday to Univac One. That computer right there is ginormous, and this phone that I have in my hand is more powerful than that thing. Remington Rand delivers the Univac One to the Census Bureau, and I think they still use it. I'm not sure. 5,000 vacuum tubes. It weighed 16,000 pounds. That's 7.6 tons. It took up an entire floor. So there you go. I think the Census Bureau was still using it. I'm not sure. On this date, 1968, Lyndon Johnson gave an address to the nation. Nobody knew. Well, 3 people knew the bombshell that Lyndon Johnson was about to drop. He had some competition for the Democratic presidential nominee in 1968. He gave the speech to a nationwide television audience, and then he dropped this bomb.
I do not believe that I should devote an hour or a day of my time to any personal partisan causes or to any duties other than the awesome duties of this office, the presidency of your country. Accordingly, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
Only 3 people knew that was about ready to happen. Lyndon Johnson himself, of course. He told his wife, Lady Bird, before he went on national television. And the guy who loaded up the teleprompter, who read the script in advance, they were the only 3 people who knew that Lyndon said, "I'm gone," on January 20th. And the remarkable story of the 1997 Arizona Wildcats, an incredible story. They finished 11-7 in conference play. They finished 5th in the Pac-10. They were 19-9. That was it, but they made the big dance. They were the number 4 seed in the Southeast Regional, and then they beat 3 number 1 teams. And the way the tournament is structured nowadays, you cannot beat 3 number 1 teams. You can only beat at most 2. But they beat number 1 Kansas, number 1 North Carolina, and number 1 Kentucky to win the national championship. And by the way, it's the most recent national championship from the Pac-12 conference, and it's been 30 some odd years. Birthdays. We think of Shirley Jones as pure as the driven snow, Oklahoma, Marion the Librarian, and The Music Man, Carousel. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for playing a prostitute, and a nasty one at that. so she was never typecast. Shirley Jones, sometimes known as Shirley Partridge, is 92 years old today. Herb Alpert is 91 years old today, still outperforming. He is the only person in the history of the Billboard Hot 100 to have a #1 hit as a singer, This Guy's in Love with You, in 1968, and as an instrumentalist, his instrumental song Rise went to #1 in 1979. Herb Alpert is 91. Christopher Walken is 83 years old today. I watched The Deer Hunter over the weekend. He was really good in that. And my favorite South Korean rapper, there he is, Bang Young-guk, is 36 years old today. And my nephew Stephen and my niece Carly celebrate the same birthday. That's the only way I can remember it. Happy birthday to Stephen, happy birthday to Carly. And despite the picture that you see there on the screen, they really don't much care for one another. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. My Zoom conversation with Kenny Mayne and the main event coming to the college next month is coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services, including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, a recent bill, H.R. 30, the Preventing Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act, was voted on. Now, in part, this bill concerned whether or not deporting or not allowing immigration to aliens who are sex offenders. Well, I'm not familiar with all the arguments for or against this bill or all the details, but supporters of Donald Trump complain that 145 Democrats voted against this bill, a bill about restricting sex offenders. Supporters of Donald Trump complaining about a lack of action restricting sex offenders. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update,
Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need, from top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style. They have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
Saturday, May 9th is a red letter day for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department. One of the most illustrious alumni of that fine educational organization is coming back here to the big city to help out the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department. Kenny Mayne will be in town on Saturday, May 9th to bring his warmth, his wit, and his movie with him. And he joins me now via Zoom from, I don't know where the hell you are, Kenny. I should have asked that.
I'm in Connecticut. It's a long story, but I got remarried. I'm mostly in Connecticut. I'm often in Seattle. And our last daughter of the four, we each had two. The last daughter's in college in New York City. Right now she has mono. She's in the back gray room. But yeah, so we got four girls all over the country: Miami, LA, Seattle, and New York.
So if you're in Connecticut, do you stop by Bristol every once in a while and see your old cohorts, or have you been in that building since 2021?
I've been there a couple times. I actually showed a little clip of the wiffle ball movie that you have, and we're pretending we already aired it, or it really already happened. I don't know what happened because we're taping this, but yeah, they helped me with that. I did something else. I can't remember what the other thing I did, but I stay in contact with a lot of my good friends. We play golf together. We send funny notes together just like we did in the old days, but I haven't been there as far as working there for like 4 years.
Well, you were there for 26, 27 years at ESPN. For in this line of work, that's a lifetime. Do you miss it at all? I mean, do you miss the grind, or do you enjoy a little bit more of the free time you're getting now?
I don't miss the grind. I miss the hour. You know, I miss a no-hitter happening and we're on the air 2 minutes later, or Steph Curry hits a three and they went to overtime. You know, I miss all that, the action. I still, you know, I think I'm able to do similarly by doing the things I am doing now. We have a podcast that's taped, but we do some live things. You know, we're having fun doing that. It's called We Need a Fourth. It's with Cooper Manning and Kevin from The Office, Brian Baumgartner. So that's filling some of my time. And I have like 20 failed projects I could talk about, but we'll stick with what's working. So did we have a mutual friend, Sandy Coopwriter, Coop, affectionately known to one and all. He was your coach. He's been a friend of mine for 100 years. Did he reach out to you? How did this whole thing for May 9th come together to get you back here in Wenatchee Valley? He ordered me to do something, essentially. That's how Sandy operates. Just, Kenny, you have to do this. That's how he starts. And why wouldn't I? You know, coming out of high school, I was, you know, I could throw okay, but I was like, you know, 140 pounds or something. And I needed time to kind of develop and get my chance to go play somewhere else. So I ended up going to Wenatchee, and Sandy was the coach. And, you know, really appreciate all my time there. I'm still good friends with a bunch of the guys I played with. Still have an affection for the town. And he just said, look, we need to raise some more money. Athletics aren't being supported as well as they need to be to get these kids a chance to play and stay in school. That's half the thing for a lot of kids. And so I said, yeah, how can I help? And he was saying, we need to figure out something. Let's just do a one-night fundraiser. And I said, well, I have something of minor interest. I can show up and do my little show that I've done a few times in Las Vegas and New York City, and I show my movie called Wiffle Ball. And if that's enough for you, then, you know, that's what I can bring. So hopefully people like it, and it's a way to kind of warm the audience and then maybe start, you know, selling some auction items additionally. You were here in the big city, 77, 78. You're 2 years out of, I believe, Kent is where you came from. You came here, you played football. What are your specific memories of playing for Coach Coopwriter in the Apple Bowl back in the day? He seemed really young, and maybe he was. Like, I don't know how much older he is than I am, but no, his energy. And I'll tell you what, of all the quotes, my favorite quote ever is by a horse race trainer called Nick Zito. And his horses had never won the Belmont, and he was getting criticized. You always finish second, you know, like, and how disappointing. And he said, look, you can't even lose if you don't enter. Like, what a great philosophy. And I've really lived my life that way anyway. I'm always shooting for the moon. I fail all the time. I try the next person and see if they say yes. But Sandy gave my second favorite quote ever, and he knew a lot of us thought we were better than junior college, right? We belong here, and everybody had attitude, right? And he recognized it, and he kind of put it back to us, and he said, look, but you're here right now. So wherever you are, make where that is your big time. And care. It's just like when people have a job and they want to move to a different job, you still have to do well at the job you have, right? You have to excel at that. And it really stuck with me, and I think it changed a lot of the way we approach things, and we took it very seriously. We wanted to improve. We wanted to be a team. And I've held that quote and that moment my whole life since.
If you're not where you are, you're nowhere, I guess, is basically.
That's pretty true. So he wanted some help. I said, I have this little movie I made, and then additionally I made up sort of a stand-up that precedes showing the movie. So basically I'm telling my childhood stories that set the table to watch this movie that essentially was born from my childhood. And 1989, Ken Griffey as a rookie and I threw wiffle balls, and I had this tape 30 odd years later, and I found it, it's in the basement, wherever, and then we had to figure, well, what happened that day? So it's sort of a story about a day in the life, my love of wiffle ball, my affection for Griffey and all he did for Seattle, and hopefully people think it's fun.
So you played a couple of years at Wenatchee Valley. Your impact was so huge that the program doesn't exist anymore. But you did get some kudos. You got some All-American honors. What did you get, and do you still have it? Was it a trophy or something? What do you have?
Some kind of plaque. I have my little sports memorabilia room at my place in Seattle. I was just going through that the other day. All the times that I've been able to come back and do things that help the school, and I wish I had done more. I've been living back east most of the time. It's always important to me because I really did gain a great deal from getting to go to Wenatchee for those couple of years. I matured a little bit, physically at least, and then I got my chance to go play at Division I after that. I didn't play that much, but I got to go to school for free. But it was really born from getting the opportunity at Wenatchee. I was always bummed that they killed junior college football in the Northwest. That's a number of years ago now, and I realize it's expensive, but there really are so many benefits from athletics. In some cases you're helping people move on to the next school, like in my case. Other cases, kids might not go to college at all if not for the sport they love, right? It helps with their education and just the community of it all. People coming out and supporting the team, the community within the school. Like there's so many good benefits from whatever sport, not just football. And so if we raise a couple dollars at this May 9th event and it benefits some of the kids just a little bit, then we've done a good thing. Well,
you mentioned already that it's been nearly 50 years since you played football at Wenatchee Valley College, and you're still in touch with some of your teammates from 50 years ago.
For sure. I played against my best friend. He played at Yakima at the time, and he just passed away, Mark Sansevier. So think of him and his family. It was an opportunity at the time where there were some other schools that were interested, but I had my sights on higher level, and going through Wenatchee was the ticket for me. But yeah, I've kept close association with a whole bunch of them, and Sandy, my old coach, we talk now and then, and here he was saying, we're going to do this good thing. I need you to help some way. We're rallying some of the other guys. John Gregg, who played for the Sonics eventually, he was a great basketball player at Wenatchee. George Foster was with me. Daryl Bell, Gribbles, I can name a bunch of other names. We're going to try to get everybody to show up and do something good for Wenatchee.
Sandy has a tendency to do that. Sandy gets into your psyche, and he doesn't go away. That's the one thing I noticed about Coop. He's always there somewhere.
Yeah, and he doing this just, like another act, of service, to help the school and the community that he cared about all these years. So I think it's great. I'm glad we threw something together, and it's always one of those things where you don't know how much help you're going to get, how much are we going to raise, but whatever it was is going to be more than had we not done it, right? Like you got to go out and try. I have a foundation because I wrecked my ankle at UNLV, and we raise money and we buy these devices for veterans who need them, who have ankles as bad or worse than mine. And I remember at my first event, it was such a small crowd. I was so disappointed. And Jamal Crawford came and helped that day, and he was like, hey, keep doing little good things. and it'll turn into something bigger, and it has, you know. So it's the same with an operation like this.
This wiffle ball movie that you did with Ken Griffey Jr. back in 1989, people are going to go, that sounds cool, and they're going to Google it, and they're not going to be able to find it, are they? So if they really want to see this movie, they want to come on the 9th, right?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I remain hopeful of trying to package this and sell the whole show as a TV show. It's easier said than done. But yeah, I've done kind of like live performances of this now. This will be like my 7th or 8th because I've done film festivals. We did a fundraiser for Run Freely, the organization I was talking about. I did 2 shows in Las Vegas, 1 in New York City. So that's why it was on my mind, like, well, what can I do besides just go up there and beg for money? How about we put on a little song and dance? Hopefully people like it, and it makes the night even more fun than just showing up to support the school.
Sadie is a hard person to say no to. Weinstein Beverage is on board. Brendan Dragoo of Dragoo Financial is on board. Smitty's Pancake House. A bunch of sponsors are on board. They want you to buy a table. Individual tickets will go on sale early in the month of April. You're going to be able to spend any significant amount of time here in Wenatchee, Kenny, or are you flying in, flying out, and off to your next adventure?
I'll be coming from Los Angeles because Cooper and Kevin from the office and I are playing in a Netflix has a big event. We get to play in their tournament. Then I'll come up to Seattle. I got some business to do. I'm going to try to stay long enough to get a game of golf in, maybe the morning of. But I hope to see some old friends while I'm there, and then hope to do some good for the school.
There's a lot of really nice new golf courses that you're not familiar with in our area, and big greens, big fairways. You like those, I'm sure.
Yeah, when we first started our show last summer, we got to fly to Scotland and play the Old Course and Jubilee and the Castle Course. That was a pretty good way to kick off. So I'm happy to play golf anywhere. I was just talking about this. I don't belong anywhere. I mostly just play with friends at whatever the Muni that's open that day. But it is fun going to the elite courses now and then. I've been to Gamble Sands, a little north of you.
Yes,
and
great golf course.
And they had a new one up there, I heard. And then additionally, what's the one? There's like a 700-yard par 5 downhill. It's right off the river. It's not very far north of Wenatchee. It's probably 15-minute drive.
Desert Canyon.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I know there's a whole bunch of good choices. I hope we get to play one of them.
Talk about your foundation real quick. Does that brace that you have to wear in your ankle, does that affect your golf swing at all?
I mean, it makes it a little bit awkward, but if I didn't use it, I would be limping around for 3 days. So essentially, my ankle is just like locked. I have no motion, right? Just very, very little. It's bone on bone. So this device displaces the pressure off your bad joint. Doesn't fix anything. It just lets you do things that you can't do without. So if I wear regular shoes, I'll never wear dress shoes the rest of my life. I wear black slippers to weddings and funerals at this point, at least conform to that degree. But it's called Run Freely, RUNFREELY, runfreely.org. And people can look it up right now. It tells the whole story. We've had amazing help. I mean, I mentioned Jamal. We had Lenny Wilkins passed away just recently. We had Gary Payton, Steve Largent, Jerry Rice. That's a pretty good opening cast, right? And so I'm thinking we're going to have to rent out Key Arena for 20,000 people, but it ended up at a high school. Steve Kerr has helped. Dale Earnhardt has helped. I'm like name dropping all the nice people that have either given time as a prize, like you get to meet so-and-so. Joe Montana helped, Mike Penix. And so we've done all these little events, and just every time we raise the next amount, I call up the guy in Gig Harbor, hey, we got the money again, who's in line? We just keep doing it like that. And it's kind of fun running it because I put in time similar to this where, you put the word out, somebody's going to listen to this, they're going to go to runfreely.org, they're going to read our story, and that's kind of the way we keep propelling the thing.
I, for one, am looking forward to May 9th. Sandy has asked me to be the master of ceremonies. I can't commit yet because I don't know what may be happening in the world of television, but I'll do my very best to be there. A couple more questions and I'll cut you loose. You mentioned the podcast you do with Cooper and Brian and yourself, and then a fourth that whoever you can grab. Is there somebody who you really want on your podcast you haven't been able to get to agree to do it yet?
I think a great one would be LeBron James because, as you probably followed, he's taken up the game of golf and he's realized how damn hard it is. It's such a frustrating yet rewarding sport. I play it mostly. It's just a great getaway. You get to put your phone down for 5 hours and you're with friends, and but once you start to do it halfway okay, it's frustrating that you can't repeat that performance. Whereas, like, I can still throw a football, and you know, not as far as I once did, but you know, I'm playing catch. I'm never going to just throw the ball into the ground. That's not. I might be high, I might be low, it might be wobbly, but it's going to go toward the person I'm throwing to. Whereas golf, you can hit a great drive and the next shot goes 7 feet because it's hard to be consistent. But I love it. We celebrate what LeBron's going through right now. We celebrate that. We also get some top-level players. We had Max Homa on. Michelle Wee was a guest. You know, we've had Bobby Flay. We've had a bunch of comedians. We just did Andy Richter yesterday. So we've had a blast with the people that have agreed to give us an hour, and they make a little show. We come out every Monday. It's by Smartless Media on Sirius, and it's been fun doing.
Kenny, I'm looking forward to seeing you on May 9th. If you need any arrangements getting up to Gamble Sands, it's not who you know, it's who I know. I could probably make a couple of phone calls. Can we get together again one more time, maybe early May, just to gild that lily a little bit more before the big event?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to, and I hope a bunch of people come out. So I'm glad people are already supporting it. Sandy showed me, he stuck my face on a billboard. That's kind of embarrassing, actually, but apparently he's going after it. He wants this thing to succeed. He's not great with technology, so he will not be in charge of the media, because the show requires picture, like here's me at age 3, here's me with my Cub Scout uniform, and Sandy will not be running the board. No. Let's just say that.
Sandy plays Guess Who on his 8-track player when he's at home not doing anything. That's the Coop that I know. Kenny, I'm going to check out, as soon as we're done with this interview, I'm going to go check out the podcast that you've been doing, and really looking forward to seeing you on May 9th. And we'll get together here in a couple of weeks and
let's do it.
And grease the palms a little bit more, all right?
All right, appreciate you. Thanks for supporting it.
Thanks, Kenny, and no 3 putts.
Never.
Never. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Once again, as you know by now, it is Holy Week, and all week long, the Wenatchee Downtown Kiwanis Club has been toting that barge for special messages from local pastors all this week at 12 noon at the First United Methodist Church on Washington Street in Wenatchee. They're going to be doing this, and today's program at 12 noon again at the First United Methodist Church on Washington Street. It is Pastor Steve Whitney of the Calvary Bible Church. His message today, Wounded for Me, free to all, 12 noon, and they're doing it again on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday leading up to Easter Sunday. And what a beautiful weekend for Easter Sunday. First of all, it's going to snow in the mountain passes tomorrow and tomorrow night. Most of it Wednesday night. Heads up there. It'll be winter driving conditions. It's still winter when you get to about 4,000 feet and above that. Beautiful weekend once we get there. We got work to do. Filtered sunshine today. We'll top off at about 53, a little bit warmer tonight, 37 for the overnight low. It's going to rain from about 11 a.m. tomorrow till about 11 p.m. tomorrow, and then things look pretty good after that. That's it for us, provided the show isn't canceled. I'll see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.